Okay, these are some of Dad's movies that were taken in starting with Christmas of 1962. This is their house on Brookfield Drive. Um, Gladys and I had gotten married in July of '62, so we were living in our own house then. But this is there's Granddad Thrush, Jim. I'm not sure what that doll is all about or what it is. And there's Kitty and Lucy on the couch. Now they apparently came to our house that day. This is Gladys and my first house on West Jackson Street. It was a small house, had one fairly good sized living room and a fairly good sized bedroom, and small kitchen and dining area on one end. So it was pretty crowded with everybody there. I think if I remember right, we were paying something like $75 a month rent for it. Had a gas heater in the living room that heated the whole house. There's Dad and Carl on the right. Mom sitting on the couch. And Kitty dancing, and I did a little dancing too. So now we're back at their house on Brookfield Drive, and apparently Gladys and I went down there. And looks like somebody gave us some kind of a cooker. And dinner with Granddad Thrush. And Gladys and I sitting next to Granddad Thrush and Lucy in the high chair. Carl on this end. Mom and Jim and Kitty. And this would be January, probably January or February in 1963. And I guess we're back at Mom and Dad's place on Brookfield Drive. There's Gladys holding Billy, and he's probably only about a month old at the time. And this is in Florida. That spring, Mom and Dad decided to go to Florida. They were both laid off from work. They decided to go down there and visit some friends in Fort Myers, and my Uncle Bill and Aunt Ethel lived a little town called Callahan in northern Florida, and they were looking for jobs and a place to move to. So they moved out of the house on Brookfield Drive, and Gladys and I moved out of our house and moved into theirs assuming that they were going to be moving permanently to Florida. So anyway, these were scenes taken around Fort Myers, Florida, and in the early summer of 1963. Jim, Kitty, and Lucy, and Lucy loved the water. She was always liked to go swimming and play in the water. Head going in the water. This would have been a beach somewhere near Fort Myers on the Gulf side of Florida. Water's a lot calmer there than it is on the Atlantic side. And that's Mom's friend Zoe Smith. She was going somewhere. That was her house there in Fort Myers. And that's Dad's white station wagon parked in the driveway there. And this is that was Zoe's husband, Clyde. Now these are scenes up in the northern Florida. This would be on the Atlantic. That was my aunt with her back to the camera. Um, that's probably my cousin Bob there, and my cousin Carol in a white dress, and some of not sure who all the other kids were there. That's my cousin Carol, and they had a business. They grew some kind of flowers in that they sold to stores, potted plants, stuff. That's Carol watering their stock. My Uncle Bill was supervising there. That's Aunt Ethel and cousin Carol and Uncle Bill, and Carol and Aunt Ethel were leaving on a trip, sales trip probably, because they traveled around and delivered to different stores that carried their flowers. And back out at the beach, and again on the Atlantic side. Not sure who all the kids are there, but might have been some of my cousin Bob's kids. He had He had a couple of kids, I believe, at that time. And this is actually in Dodge City, Kansas. This is on our trip to California. This was in 1960, in July of 1963, when we all headed west to California. And this was our first stop. I know we stopped there and did a little sightseeing, and also had to do laundry. We had Bill along as a baby, so that meant we had to do laundry with diapers pretty often. But this is the touristy area of Dodge City. Long Branch Saloon. Well, it looked like the stagecoach leaving. Probably not going very far, but apparently they were giving rides on the stagecoach. And back out and headed across to Colorado. Made this trip. Mom and Dad had a camp trailer, a folding trailer, and we left with just the car, but we met up with them. We stayed in New Carlisle for another day or two while I finished up the last paper I worked on. Worked for the newspaper and finished printing the last one. And we left on Wednesday right after that. Met them in a small park in southern Indiana, and there they decided they had too much in the car, so they rented a small trailer that I towed, and so I ended up towing a small U-Haul type trailer, and they had the trailer, the camp trailer, and so that's how we made our trip the rest of the way across country. And we left from there. We drove mostly US 50 all the way through to Colorado, where we stopped at the Sand Dunes National Park or Monument, and then we spent a night at the Mesa Verde, and then on up to Grand Canyon. We spent a whole day there. We left there. We went around the canyon and up through Page, Arizona, on up through Utah, and went to the Bryce Canyon National Park. And I have pictures of that here before long. We stopped and we got pictures of Grand Canyon on here and some of Bryce Canyon. But Bryce Canyon a lot smaller, but in my opinion it was a lot more colorful. In fact, we walked to the bottom of Bryce Canyon when we stopped there. All of us except Mom and Bill. Billy was just a baby, and Mom didn't want to try to walk down there, so we left Billy with her, and all the rest of us walked to the bottom of it. This is some of the canyons on the way to the Grand Canyon. And here we are at the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is spectacular, but as I said, the Bryce Canyon is, I think, a lot more colorful. And a picture of the Colorado River running through the bottom of the canyon. And it's about a mile down, as the canyon is about a mile deep. So, pretty good sized river from when you're looking at it from that far away. See all the green, so it's pretty easy to follow where the river is. There's a quick glance, a glimpse of Gladys and Kitty, and I guess I was up in the front. And again, still at the Grand Canyon. This was an area where they're building a new dam at Page, Arizona. Now we're getting into the Red Rock area in the Bryce Canyon National Park. And here we are walking to the bottom of the canyon. Here I am and Jim and I don't know who the other people were, but there's a lot of people that walked to the bottom of the canyon. It wasn't nearly as deep as the Grand Canyon, but it was a fairly strenuous hike. I think if I remember, they had guided tours also. We just went on our own and just followed the trail. It was not one where you could easily get lost. See some of the people on the trail there. That was Kitty and Jim there. I've got some colored slides of this that I took of us when we were in the bottom. And I think we were driving down to Lake Mead there. That's Hoover Dam. We were going to spend the night near there at a place called Valley of the Fire. And in the evening, it got so hot that we decided to drive on into California. And about midnight, we took off and drove the last couple hundred miles into California. When they named it the Valley of the Fire, it was appropriately named. And this switches to Disneyland, so this must have been one of the first times they went to Disneyland I'm assuming in '63, right after we moved there. I don't remember going, but maybe Gladys and the kids, or would have just been Billy at the time, went with them. We did make some trips to another place that was down in the same area, the Knott's Berry Farm. And it was another time, the Knott's Berry Farm didn't have any any admission charge. They had rides that they would charge for, but basically a park and a restaurant. And it started out as well, there's Kitty and Jim and a boat at Disneyland. But the Knott's Berry Farm was down somewhat in the same area, but it had started out as a fruit stand and a restaurant right along the road, and it grew into a major theme park now. So, but Disneyland was the best known. It was the one that was built in about, I think, about 1955. Somebody rode on Dumbo there quite a bit. And that looks like about it. Oh, final shot of the railroad station there.